Good afternoon, all my rural Xers out there. This is Eric, the rural Xer, here with you just outside Cartersville, Georgia, at the Etowah Indian Mounds. We're going to take a little tour through this state historic site. It's actually been designated a National Historic Site on the National Register of Historic Places. So we're going to take a little tour around these mounds here today. So come along and join me, if you will. Here we got the plaque designating the Etowah Mounds as a National Historic Landmark. Here we've got the Etowah Chief sculpture that's just outside the entrance of the building going to the Etowah Mounds. And this is named the Etowah Chief, as you can see by the plaque there. We're now in the museum for the Etowah Mounds, and here's a plaque, one of the first plaques you see on your right as you're coming into the museum, explaining why this area, they had these Indian mounds here. I won't go into reading all of this, but if you want to read it yourself, feel free to pause the video at any time and go right ahead. Here's a picture of the state broke down by geographical regions like Coastal Plain, Piedmont, Valley and Ridge, and Blue Ridge Mountains up at the top right-hand corner, which would be the northeast section of the state. As this plaque says, we are now on native land. Here's a plaque that is part of the museum that talks about what the Cherokee Indians call the Trail of Tears, but the Muskogee tribe that was from this area in Etowah referred to as Road of Misery. Here are some of the games that the tribes once played, and one of them was called stickballs, but it's akin to modern day lacrosse, as you can see from the sticks that they used with baskets on the end. Very much like the lacrosse sticks that they play with nowadays. Here's one more plaque talking about some of the dances that they performed during celebration ceremonies, Thanksgiving type ceremonies and all. Very interesting. I read this myself, and it was very interesting. We're now outside of the Welcome Center here at Etowah Mounds, walking on out here towards the mounds themselves, but right here we've got a Etowah's Wattle and Daub House, I guess. Here's the plaque for it. I'm not going to go into reading a lot of it, but here's the little mud house, or whatever you want to call it. And it is a scorcher out here today. It is in the upper 80s, and it was that high earlier today whenever I stopped by the Tate Depot in Tate, Georgia. I was there earlier this morning and took a tour through it, and it was warm then. Here's our first look at the mounds here, and as you can see, The one closest to us is very high and looks like they've got a set of stairs up to the top of it. And they say it's as high as a 6-story building. So we want to go over there and climb up that one as well as the other one possibly, hopefully. Continuing our walk on out here to the mounds, after reading some of the literature, plaques, different things in the museum, and out here as well, there's plaques along the pathway going out here to the mounds themselves. I take it that the Kusawati, if I'm pronouncing that right, tribe was a tribe that actually existed before the Cherokee Indians, if I'm not badly mistaken. I'll have to confirm that. Maybe I can do that whenever I get back to the Welcome Center, ask one of the employees there about it. But I think they must have existed before the Cherokee came into the area, from what I gathered from one of the plaques that I read. And this was like a village here. Now, I'm not sure about that. You know, there's been all kinds of speculation as to what Indian mounds were actually used for over the years, because there's quite a few of them around the state of Georgia. I've visited several of them, some of the sites, and very interesting, but very mysterious, because most people, I think of it as maybe a burial site for their people of the tribe, just normal people, or maybe sort of like the pyramids in Egypt, where they buried or placed of course that's in Egypt, mummified kings or something. Not really sure, but I am curious about that, and I think I'm going to ask to see if, you know, what it is, and get some more information about what burial mounds were and what they were used for. Now here's a more close-up shot of the, looks like the main mound here, and it's quite massive, very massive. We want to try to go up to the top of that and look around up there. This plaque here talks about that this was more like a village here, built alongside the mounds at one time. It says the most recent archaeological work at Etowah indicates that one large plaza existed to the east of Mound A. Smaller plazas have been present beside other mounds at various times. The plaza served the community as gathering place for ceremonies, storytelling, trade, greeting visitors, and even playing games such as Chunky or the Native American stickball game from which lacrosse originated, like I was talking about there in the museum. And then it goes on talking about it was the Chunky game was played by warriors, and usually, like it says down here, games of skill pitted one village or tribe against another. These contests lasted for days and sometimes resulted in great prizes for the winning team. Although generally good-natured, the young man played with great vigor, which occasionally resulted in broken limbs. So they really got into their sport, sort of like we get into the sport of football. It can result in great injury, or sometimes even death, a few times over the years. Not a lot, but a few times over the years. There's a plaque right here at the base of Mound A, which is the tallest mound, and it says right here, which kind of clarifies what I was talking about earlier, Etowah was a Native American chiefdom. Chiefdoms consisted of a highly structured social order and permanent political officers. Kinship rule guided social ranking, and political officers received the right to rule by virtue of birth. As both a political and religious leader, a chief ruled until his death. From his temple and home atop Mound A, the chief could rule his people and perform religious ceremonies. So, at least in this one, the mound was a place for the chief of the tribe to actually serve his chiefdom, was atop the mound. I don't know if this was used for any other purpose other than that or not. I don't know. Here we are at the base of Mound A, of the stairs, and you can see how long that is. That's going to be quite a hike up through there on a hot day like today in the 80s and pretty humid. Let's see if we can make it. Well, I made it up here. Whew, and I am out of breath. That was, I don't know how many steps that was, but there was quite a few of them, and no landings to catch your breath at. But as you can see, it is quite a view from up here. You can see back over to Georgia Power's plant back over there, where you see that steam coming up from the stacks over there. That's the coal fire plant. Probably one of the last few that's left. But anyway, but yeah, I'd hate to be the one to have to come up here and mow this. I don't know how they get up here to do it, but that was, I'm still out of breath. You'll have to excuse me because, ooh, that is something. But here we are looking back down over the plateau where the Indian villages would have been surrounding the base of the mounds. Yeah. That was a hike. That was a hike. I'll definitely have to drink me plenty of fluids whenever I leave here to keep from getting leg cramps, because I probably get them tonight if I don't. May still get them even if I do. Whew. Know how that goes. Based on archaeological findings and scientists' imagination, they figured that this area on the side of Mound A, which we're looking down right here at the steps that came up, this was the plaza out in the center. And then the village actually surrounded the plaza. They actually had a plaque over here that depicted what they thought this was used for. And I'll show it here in just a second. Like I said, based on archaeological findings, early written descriptions, and their imagination, many artists have sketched their view of Etowah. This view from the top of Mound A illustrates a tribal chief greeting his villagers gathered on the plaza below at sunrise. Etowah's Mound A commanded a tremendous view of surrounding area and the nearby Allatoona Mountains. And here's an actual depiction of what it looked like at sunrise. Finally caught my breath a little bit. I'm going to have to go back down now, and I've got 2 more mounds to climb up. So, not saying I'll be able to do it, but we'll try. Just made it down the bottom of Mound A, which is the highest one, the 6-story one. It was a whole lot easier coming down than it was going up, but even coming down, it wasn't too easy. But it was a whole lot easier than going up, for sure. As you can tell, I'm not as out of breath as I was going up. I did make it, though. I did make it. We're approaching the next mound, which is Mound B. I want to look at the plaque over here and see what exactly it was used for. Archaeological excavations show that Mound B's first 2 construction phases took place during Etowah's late Etowah period, AD 11 to 1200. This construction resulted in a small platform mound, about 1/2 of its final size. After a short period when the site was abandoned, construction continued on Mound B from AD 1250 to 1325. Mound building increased the footprint of the mound to the north, and structures were built on its summit. Structure 3 probably served as a special function site associated with the restricted and probably elite segment of Etowah society. It appears that this structure was burned and rebuilt with new construction effort at Mound B. During the height of Etowah's occupation, about AD 1325 to 1375, a terrace was built over Structure 3 and a new rectangular building, Structure 4, was constructed on the terrace. Archaeologists believe Structure 4 served Etowah's people in the same manner as Structure 3. And here is the structures that they were talking about. And here's the staircase leading up to the top of Mound B. And as you can see, it's probably not even half the length of the first staircase on Mound A. Made it to the top of Mound B, and as you can see, I'm not as nearly out of breath as I was on the first one. And there's another one over to my right, over here. And this is the top. Looks like the grass needs to be cut up here. I don't know if there's a trail leading up here or not. You don't have as high of a structure as you did on Mound A, or quite as good a view. Mostly just the plaza area, which is out that way. I apologize for being out of breath. It didn't hit me until after I got up here. But yeah, they about need to cut the grass here a little bit high. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go rolling off of there. Now this might make a good place to sled in the wintertime. Not that I'm saying you should come out here and do that. I'm just saying if you had a hill like this, that would be pretty cool. But as you can see, not a whole awful, not a great view. You got a lot of tall trees at the far end of the complex here, and so it's really don't see a whole awful lot like you could on Mound A. Well, I made it down from Mound A. Now it does look like over here to my left, I'm not going to show it, but it looks like there is a path that's mowed, and it might go to a path going up the side like on Mound A, but we're going on over here to Mound C and climb that. And I'm hoping that that's the last one. I am tired and it is hot out here. I desperately need to get where it's shady because there is absolutely zero shade out here. This would be a whole lot better if it was in the evening to do this whenever it's a little cool. They only stay open until 5 o'clock in the afternoons, unfortunately. And so it's not possible to come out here in the early evenings in the summertime like it'd be nice to. But anyway, we're about to get over here to Mound C, which will be the last of the mounds. And I actually have, this is unique over here. They've got 2 staircases going up. I'm not sure why, but for some reason they do. And there's these 2 staircases going up. It looks like they're kind of overgrown. I'm not too sure how safe this is. I'm going to try this left one over here. It looks a little bit, maybe a little bit newer and better shape than that right one. And we'll try it and see. As you can tell, this is a whole lot smaller mound than the other ones because the top is a whole lot smaller. I don't know what's going on with my mic 2. I've got it clipped on under my shirt. It keeps popping up on the screen saying that it disconnected and then it reconnects. Anyway, but yeah, here's the top of it. As you can see, not very big at all. I don't know if it's getting hot because of being in my shirt or what. keeps disconnecting. It just popped up on the screen again. It's hard to read because it's out here in such bright sunlight, but looks like this area extends over into the woods where it's nice and shady. If I was a villager here during the time, I think I'd be building my little hut over there in the edge of the woods like that, where it's shady and cooler. Not a whole awful lot to see up here. We'll head on back down now. Yeah, I got over here in the shade where I could cool off myself and let my camera equipment cool off. I think it might have been overheating. Why the DJI Mic 2 kept disconnecting from my camera. And anyway, I come over here to kind of research it. I was getting a flashing blue indicator on my mic, and it said that that was indicating that it was trying to connect through Bluetooth to a camera device, such as my Osmo Pocket 3 camera. I don't know why it kept disconnecting, because I haven't had that problems before, but then again, I haven't been out in this heat before, so that's probably the reason. But in the process of coming over here to the shade off to the side, which is part of the nature trail here at Etowah Indian Mounds, I stumbled upon this river here. Swing the camera around, you can see it gently flowing by. Very beautiful. Makes you just want to go down there and jump in. do the Nestea iced tea plunge, as we used to call it. The Nestea plunge. Nestea plunge. Whew. Boy, that would feel good right now, that river, because I am sweating like one thing. But yeah, I'm not sure what river this is. I know this is the Etowah Indian Mounds, but I don't know if this is the Etowah River. Now, I know the Etowah River comes out of Canton in Cherokee County, so this may be the Etowah, or it may be called something else and then runs into the Etowah. I'm not really sure. I'll have to research that. I did a little research online and did find out that this is the Etowah River. Now, for some reason, in the museum, I was reading some literature in there, and it said something about a river, another name of a river, and I don't know if it was this one they were talking about or some other river that the tribe that was here before, can't remember again. Whew, I'm too tired to remember things like that. Anyway, it was some other river that they named, but this is the Etowah River. This is the same river that runs through Cherokee County and Canton, where I work at. So this is the same river. It seems like a whole lot bigger here, but I guess it's because it's coming down. You've got all these tributaries that's running into it as well. This plaque here talks about the Indian River fish trap dam that was used, that was built out of rocks in the bottom of the river in a V, W, or U or W shape to help catch fish and trap them. And as you can see here, they're using baskets, but they also use spears, baskets, and other means to catch the fish. And looking out over the river, you can actually see, I'll walk over here, you can see it now. The river water is very clear that's coming down at the bottom. Zoom in on it, and you should be able to see, I'm not sure if you can see it there or not, but I can see it at the bottom of the river. You can see currents around that V shape, and it's right there in the center of the river, and probably not low enough where the water is below it, but you can see it through the water right out there very, very easily from here. As you can see, this is a very shady trail down through here. Very nice. Looks like there's some sort of a structure on up ahead. I'm not sure what it is, but let's go over there and explore and find out. Well, here's what I was seeing through the woods. Just a modern day structure. It don't look like it's being kept up very well. Looks like there's just a bunch of junk sitting around in front of it. I don't know if they might have been using it. It might be used for maintenance equipment such as lawnmowers, weed eaters, blowers, stuff like that that they use to take care of the mounds. Although you would think that they would have like a big shed. Well, this is a big shed, but it doesn't have a big door where they could drive a tractor or anything like that into it. It's just a regular door with a refrigerator sitting right in front of it. So I'm not really sure what it's used for, if it's used for anything now. Well, that nature walk that was in the shade kind of ended at the edge of the woods. It kind of pushed you out away from the river and into the fields here. So I think it's about time we head on back. And it was something sounded like a hawk almost. Took off just about the time I walked through there. But anyway, I think I'm gonna head on back towards the visitor center and go in there and go through the gift shop. As you can see, I'm about halfway across the plaza from the Mounds over there, and I'm looking straight at Mound A, and just to the left of it is Mound B, and then on the back side of it is Mound C, the three mounds. But there's a trail that I'm crossing, and here's the rest of the plaza right here, as you can see to my right as I'm heading back towards the visitor center. So you can see that this plaza was pretty massive. And of course, right now, they're not mowing the whole thing. They're letting it mostly grow up. But I don't know, back in the days of the tribe living here, whether they actually kept this cut and how they cut it. That would be the next question. If they did cut it, how did they cut it? What did they use? What tools did they use to cut it with? That would be very interesting to know. I think this is their maintenance area here now. And there's a gate that goes out, and I bet they have buildings in there where maintenance people may even live. I'm not really sure. It looks like there's a house there. I don't know if there's anybody that lives there or not, but yeah, they probably have a maintenance garage or something like that where they keep their equipment at, back over there. They drive them in, tractors and all. That little building that we saw on the back side of the property over there might have been used for, it looked like it might have been used for maintenance equipment at one time, but I'm sure they probably outgrew it whenever they started getting tractors and stuff to help maintain all of this land and all. Nice shady spot over there underneath that big shade tree to sit and look out over the plaza and the Indian mounds. Well, that concludes our tour of the Etowah Indian Mounds here in Cartersville, Georgia. Yeah, I was talking with the park ranger at the desk as I was coming out, and I was asking him about the plaza with all its grass that grows out there, and I knew that they wasn't keeping it cut because it just wasn't feasible, I'm sure, to keep it cut all the time. You know, it'd be a lot of labor for really nothing. But I was asking him about it, and he said, yes, they actually kept it back in the day when this was used by the Etowah people, the Etowah Indians. It was actually kept cut, but they probably didn't have to cut it too often because they would cut it maybe once or twice a year, and they would use it for thatch for the roofs of their houses where they lived. And then the rest of the time, it would be used so much by people that they would, in walking up and down, it would actually keep it trumped down to basically bare clay, he said. And that was very interesting. Anyway, that was one of my questions. So, like I said, this concludes our look at the Etowah Indian Mounds here in Cartersville, Georgia. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching up until this point if you did. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, a big thumbs up if you would, and consider subscribing to the channel. Please like, share, and comment on the video. And like I said, I do appreciate you watching. God bless, and we will see you in our next video.